Next up, we're going to be hearing from Christopher Gerteisen. He is the Executive Director and CEO of Nova Minerals, ASX code NVA, also listed on the OTC market and the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Over to you, Christopher. Let's hear what Nova's been up to. Very exciting times for you guys.
Absolutely. Great to be here today. Thanks for inviting us and giving us this opportunity to present to you the latest for Nova Minerals, which is a dynamic Australian explorer just making the transition to as a developer with one of the fastest growing gold projects in the world, as we'll see. Here's our disclaimer and forward-looking statements for all you speed readers out there. Please read. So we have currently a 4.7 million ounce resource at the Corbel Maine deposit as part of the Estelle Gold project. But as you'll see, as we go through these slides, there's significant upside that remains at Corbel and across our claims. And we'll be targeting that throughout 2021. The near-term milestones that we'll be reaching is we just came out with a resource update in April 2021. We'll be trying to come out with another one later this year. Also, another one of our advanced prospects called RPM, we'll be drilling there as well this year and coming out with the maiden resource as well this year. That'll add serious depth to the project now with 2 resource areas to begin to advance as we progress forward. So we're unlocking the district. It's not just Corbel and RPM. There's numerous other prospects across the claims that we'll be advancing as well. We also have some key strategic investments, which we'll highlight just right at the end, that are going to bring some serious value to Nova shareholders, we believe, as well. We're located in Alaska. There's a very, very pro-development type jurisdiction, very straightforward, streamlined path towards approved permitting and developing mines. And so that's very, very encouraging, our location. We're aiming to be the next low-cost gold producer. We're here to basically be on the path to fast track to production. We're not here to play the market or be a lifestyle company. Our objective is production. We've also come a long way with our ESG. We'll be coming out with our first sustainability report this year as well. So lots going on. Zooming into the Estelle Gold project. That yellow highlighted shaded area there is the 324 square kilometer claim block we have. We access the site to date. We have the infrastructure we have a very nice piece of infrastructure, 4,000 plus foot runway that we use to service the operation in the summertime. In the wintertime, we actually use snow roads, very common in this area. Snow road, this is how we bring in our heavy equipment, drill rigs, camp units, all these things. Very, very successful with those snow operations in this year and years past. But in addition to that,
sorry to interrupt you, Christopher, but I was actually going to ask, does weather play a part? Because Alaska, a lot of snow, and you're bringing that up. Does that stop the drilling at any stage, or you work around that?
Yes, absolutely. So early on, we committed to putting the infrastructure in place, the permanent camp, and fully winterized. And so when you have that, Carrie, you're a year-round operation, and that's what we've done. Many operations don't commit to that, and so you only hear of them for a few months out of the year, and then you don't hear from them for a few months. So we don't pull out. We're a year-round operation, and we have indeed been operating all years. And in some ways, it's easier to operate in the wintertime because you can just float over the snow. Access. You don't have to deal with swamps or rocks or some of this terrain. You just float over the snow. So the answer to your question is yes, we can operate year-round in Alaska, and we have put ourselves in a position to do so. Nevertheless, in terms of access, we've just completed phase 2 studies of what we call the West Susitna access road. We're located in the Matanuska Susitna borough. That's like a council here, and this road project basically takes us from the port of Anchorage and then extends all the way out 100 miles to the terminus at the Whiskey Bravo Estelle Gold project, the Whiskey Bravo airstrip, as we call it. And so we're going to be starting phase 3 this year. This is the last phase before we go to EIS for this road project. And now it's not just Nova Road. There's a number of beneficiaries, including several other resource projects along the way, a coal project and another copper project out there. and also agriculture, land. The borough is very keen to get out there and do fire lines and do land sales. And so a number of stakeholders involved pushing this along. We feel that the way things are going, that this will come online before we're ready to mine out there around the 2025, 2026 timeframe. So in terms of the near-term timeframe, some of the following slides will show. In late May, we intend to come out with our flow sheet. In mid-year, around July, we'll come out with our scoping study. RPM drilling will start in the May-June timeframe, and the resource to come out in September. And of course, that next Corbel, Maine resource update will be in the fourth quarter of this year. Because what we're doing here is this image on the bottom right is pushing all these projects forward. We're decreasing the risk, and that, of course, increases the value. So a very good correlation there with Corbel, Maine, and RPM now at the forefront, but we're unlocking the district with all of these other prospects coming through the pipeline. So Corbel, Maine, let's zoom in on that. The priority for drilling this year is Corbel, Maine. That's where the existing 4.7 million ounces of resource that we currently have is located in this Corbel Valley. So the drilling there, we have 4 rigs this year. 1 rig will be focused in the entire year on infill drilling on Corbel, Maine, that Block B area, that southeastern area. That's those drill lines on that image. So he'll go through. This is to prove up the existing resources we have to those measured and indicated higher confidence levels, so that we can translate those into reserves when the PFS, which will begin immediately after the scoping study. The second drill rig will be on extension drilling, step out drilling from the Corbel, Maine ore body. You can see those holes there in those radiating from the drill pads, which we have planned. So to the northwest is the Isabella block. We believe the Isabella block looks to be a extension to the Corbel, Maine ore body. And if blocks A and block B, which currently constitute the Corbel, Maine, those two converged, if that's any indication, we believe Corbel, Maine will then converge with Isabella block as well up there to the northwest of Corbel, Maine. And then to the southeast, of course, this is where we're getting the bulk of the tons and the higher grades. This will be our starter pit area, and that is continuing along strike to the southeast, as well as blowing out there to the southwest a bit. And so that's why you see those number of drill pads there focusing on that mineralization. So that drilling alone, once we complete that this year, we expect a significant upgrade to the resource. And in addition, I'll point out on this map is the Cathedral prospect, which is right there in the middle of that image to the south. We have some drilling planned there. This is where we did rock chip sampling and last year, and we came out with several ounces per ton in rock chips, and we will be drilling that as well. We think that this Cathedral could perhaps be the central core of the Corbel Valley mineralized system, and so that'll be tested this year. Again, 10 million ounce plus deposits, not uncommon in our neighborhood here in the Tintina Gold Province, and that's what we believe we're onto here at Corbel alone. Here is some on the left, a plan view, and on the right, a cross-sectional view through the Corbel, Maine ore body. What you see there is the block model, in plan and section view. So you can see very broad mineralization. In the sectional view, you can see, again, very broad mineralization, a sea of mineralization, really. What we have is a mineralized intrusive, and it's mineralized throughout. We're not talking about a narrow vein structure where you're rooting around, kind of chasing a vein, and when you come to mine it, you have a very high strip ratio. What that means is the waste to ore ratio is very high, so you got to dig a lot of waste just to get a little bit of ore. Very costly, of course, because you're not getting paid by you can't process the waste. There's no gold in it. And what we have here is more of an elliptical, like a blob shape, which means a very low strip ratio. So everything you dig up is basically pay dirt. So very ideal economics from the surface. These things are bulk mineable. So, again, the equipment can be very large. You get those economies of scale. And so that's what we have. Very ideal economics, very low cost structure in these type of deposits. Some of the most profitable mines in the world, if you look at our peers, Kinross, Fort Knox, Dublin Gulch, Victoria Gold, These guys produce at $600 to $800 per ounce, and we aim to come very, very close and within that in our scoping study coming up. 20-30-year mine life on these deposits. So zooming out again, I mentioned we have a 324 square kilometer claim block out there. We've been talking about the Corbel deposit, which is just one of these dots up here right to the north. And so this constitutes only 2% of the total land area we have.
Wow.
And so across the claims, we're unlocking the district. We have 15 other known prospects across the claims at various stages of advancement. And the next cab off the rank for us, the highest priority target after Corbel, is the RPM prospect, which sits 30 kilometers along mineralized strike to the south. I say mineralized strike because this is a mineralized intrusive corridor through here, through our claims, running north-south through our claims. And along that way is where all these other prospects are. And so there's the named one, T5, Stony, Shoeshine, Train, some of the ones that have been in the news in the past and will be in the news coming up as we advance these. But there's also numerous unnamed prospects. When you fly over that area, there's not much vegetation, and you look down and there's just color anomalies screaming at you. And so one of the work programs we have planned this year, I already have the geology teams lined up, is to go to some of these unnamed prospects and do the mapping and the sampling on the ground to start to name and advance these early prospects. So look for the news flow on that. So yeah, there's an RPM to the south, and we'll be drilling that again as well this year. So 4.7 million ounces as of now, and plenty of upside coming later this year and beyond. So zooming in on the RPM prospect, which we discussed in the previous slide, what we have there, and the reason it's the highest priority, is we have an existing drill hole there, 120 meters at over a gram per ton, which we need to follow up as well. We did sampling program there last year as well, and the results were just very, very encouraging. 9 to 10 ounces per ton in the rock chip samples. And also we've identified two zones there now, which we call RPM and RPM South. And on this image is RPM, which is RPM proper, and RPM2 is RPM South. We believe these two, this is part of the same system, and they converge at depth, and the drilling will determine that, of course. So we have in our phase 1 drilling up here, up to 5,000 meters drilled here. And critically, we will be coming out with a maiden resource on RPM. This will add serious depth to the Estelle Gold project as a whole. This is part of unlocking the district. Now we'll have 2 resource areas that will be advancing in the years to come, Corbel as well as RPM. And so very exciting, very exciting. This is all coming up this year. And here's a bar chart showing our resource growth. Unique, if not unique, extremely rare in the resource space. This type of growth trajectory since the maiden resource until today. This is 18 months. We've increased the resource by over 2 million ounces just in the last 6 months since the interim 2020 resource came out in October last year until this current resource released last month. We've increased the resource by 1 million ounces. And so 1 million ounces every 6 months seems to be the path we're on. And certainly the trajectory is on the up and up with the aggressive drilling program you see that we have planned this year. That resource growth will continue to be there for us. And mainly it'll come this year from the Corbel Maine extension and infill drilling, as well as RPM. So exciting times ahead, Carrie, and we plan to deliver. The main development projects that we have that we're working on, and so our metallurgical and flow sheet studies. We've completed the resource, the resource in April 2021, the current 4.7 million ounce resource. Now that'll be fed into our scoping study, and so we've also been doing a lot of metallurgical and flow sheet studies to feed into the scoping study as well. We will be starting our environmental. Remember, we're on the fast track to production here, so we're starting our environmental studies. Some of these baseline monitoring studies require 12 to 18 months worth of data. We will be putting in those monitoring stations this year with wetland surveys, wetland surveys, hydrology, looking at acid rock drainage, and all these type of studies you need to do for environment so that the permitting goes very quickly at the end. We're located up in the Alpine territory. And so one thing that we've seen is we'll be able, with the permitting, we'll be trying to be able to complete an EA, environmental assessment, as opposed to a full-blown EIS. That'll significantly shorten the time of permitting, as well as save resources by going for the EA, because we impact very little wetlands. And so that's one thing. So the environmental studies have commenced. On-site prep lab. This is a huge cost saving for us. Some of the existing shareholders in Nova recall all the sample turnaround time problems we had last year, up to 4.5 months just to get results back. So this will not only save time in terms of freight, where instead of sending 30 kilos per sample off site, now we'll do all that early prep work on site and only send 1 to 2 kilos off site. Big savings in terms of freight, as well. Bypass the whole prep lab section in the external labs and go straight to the analytical lab, which will alleviate the turnaround issues going forward. And so people will be happy to hear that. Also, camp and infrastructure. With the snow road this year, very successful operation. We brought in camp units, additional camp units, as well as heavy earth moving equipment, dozers, excavators. So the camp capacity will grow, which will be required as we ramp up this year and beyond, as well as using this heavy equipment to extend our airstrip even further, because we want to be bringing in loads of, when we go into production, 10, 20,000 gallons of fuel into the airstrip, as well as get a permanent access track from the camp to the Corbel drill site 10 miles away to limit our helicopter usage, which will be a huge cost savings. The metallurgical test work that we've done over the course of the year as part of our scoping studies, we looked at particle and bulk ore sorting. We've looked at gravity and flotation. We've looked at CIP, fine grind intensively, heap leach, all of these things. The way it's looking right now, we've always envisioned ourselves similar to our peers in this area as a bulk mineable heap leach style operation. Well, our studies have kind of taken us in a different direction. You have to follow where the profit is, of course. And so what we're finding now, and this will all come out in the news releases and the scoping study, is that due to the ore sorting has been just a very, very good result from the ore sorting. We're able to take 0.5 gram material and upgrade it up to 6 grams per ton. And so, if we calibrate the machine to take at least 50% of the material, you would take 10 million tons, say, that you put in the ore sorter that you mine. 5 million tons would come out, be accepted out of the back end, running at up to 2 grams per ton at a 50% mass pull. Then that 5 million tons would go through the mill, and you'd have a milling circuit going through there. We're also seeing very good gravity and flotation recovery. So at the end of the day, through our milling circuit, our plant, we're achieving 92 to 95% recovery through that. And so this is where the numbers are taking us. And what this will also do is not focusing on heap leach right now will limit our footprint as well of the operation. Again, minimizing the impact to wetlands and allow us to permit through the EA as opposed to the EIS, which is
okay. We got 1 minute left, Christopher, and I know there's so much more to get through.
Great. So the snapshot in time is this scoping study, and all of this will be revealed in the upcoming scoping study. In addition to that, we have a number of strategic investments we invite the listeners to look into. All of these have created great value to Nova shareholders to date, as well as will do so in the future. So thank you for that. We're looking at a world-class resource. We're bringing it into a world-class operation. We are in the safest jurisdiction, top-tier jurisdiction in the world. Our resource cost per ounce for discovery has been under $5, just exceptional in the industry. And we thank you for listening, and I hope you'll join us on this path towards further success in production.
I got 20 seconds left. I want to ask, did the RPM grades surprise you?
They do not, because down south there's another project. It's called the Terra Project. There's an epithermal system out there. Very high grade, these epithermal systems. We believe there's not only intrusive related gold there, but an overprinting of epithermal style mineralization which accounts for the much higher grade. So it's a little bit different geology down there.
Christopher Gerteisen, Nova Minerals, thanks for joining us at the Virtual Gold Conference.
Thanks for having us today. Look forward to the next update.
ABC Bullion, the Australian bullion company. Trading since 1972, ABC Bullion is Australia's largest independent bullion dealer and precious metals depository. Fully insured and verified by independent audit. ABC Bullion offers a range of proprietary investment products and storage solutions and Australia's first gold and silver accumulation plan. ABC Bullion.